The Vanguard drifted silently through the nebula, a hulking shadow against clouds of glowing gas. Outside, stars were smeared into streaks by the ship's slow rotation, but inside everything was still, too still. I should have been fixing a ruptured coolant conduit or recalibrating the grav lifts, but something in the air prickled my instincts. Then the alarm screamed. Red lights flooded the corridor as heavy boots pounded on the deck. Mercenaries. Dozens of them, armed to the teeth, thought they'd walk into an empty ship and take whatever they wanted. I didn't have weapons. My toolkit and engineering implants were all I carried, but I had no intention of becoming a corpse. The first one reached for me, and instinct kicked in. I sidestepped, grabbed a nearby pipe and swung it in a wide arc. The clang of metal against armor echoed, and he stumbled back, surprised. That was all it took. Momentum and audacity became my allies. I ducked under another swing, twisted and threw the mercenary into a bulkhead with nothing but my own strength. The others hesitated, their confidence faltering as they saw a human, not cowering, not pleading, but striking, grappling, flipping, and striking again. I wasn't invincible, but I was fast, clever, and unpredictable. Every improvised move was a statement I would not go quietly. From a shadowed observation platform, I noticed her, an alien woman with opalescent skin and elongated limbs, eyes wide in disbelief. Her hands froze mid-gesture, her body still as if she were suddenly carved from stone. She wasn't part of the boarding party, she was here for science, for study. Yet even from a distance, she saw what no one else did, a human fighting with the raw ferocity and ingenuity that made them extraordinary. I landed a final acrobatic strike, sending the last mercenary sprawling. The silence that followed wasn't relief. It was recognition, an unspoken message that the rules of engagement had just changed, and the galaxy would take notice. Seraphis stayed hidden in the shadows, every instinct screaming at her to retreat. She had seen countless species in her years of exploration, warriors, scavengers, even predators that could crush a human in one blow. But nothing had prepared her for this. This human, Rylan Kale, was standing in the center of the corridor, breathing hard, bruised but unbowed, surrounded by the crumpled forms of heavily armed mercenaries. Her mind raced. How could a human move with such speed, such precision, with nothing but bare hands and improvised tools? His strikes weren't random. They were calculated, each motion exploiting balance, weight, and momentum in ways that defied what she had read in exobiology reports. She'd studied humans academically, but seeing it in real time, it was like watching a legend come to life. Her pulse quickened, and she realized she was holding her breath. The metallic scent of the freighter, mingled with ozone and scorched circuits, filled her senses as she observed his movements. Even when he stumbled, he recovered almost immediately, turning near defeat into advantage. Every motion spoke of survival, adaptability, and raw courage. Part of her wanted to step forward, to interact, to understand this anomaly up close, but her training held her back. Interference could provoke a reaction she wasn't prepared for. Yet, her fascination grew with every passing second. This human didn't just survive, he dominated, not with weapons or technology, but with ingenuity and sheer willpower. When the last mercenary fell, silence swept through the corridor. Ryland's chest heaved, and he wiped sweat from his brow, unaware of the observer above. Seraphis felt a strange warmth in her chest, a mixture of admiration, disbelief, and an unspoken respect. She realized something profound. Humans, fragile and unassuming as they appeared, possessed a ferocity that could rival the most formidable species in the galaxy. For the first time in her life, she questioned everything she knew about them. This one human had shattered every expectation, and she knew she would never forget the sight of him standing there, barehanded, victorious, and utterly fearless. The corridor was quiet now, save for the hum of the freighter's failing systems. Rylan Kale wiped his hands on a rag, examining bruises that were already beginning to sting. He wasn't used to being admired, and certainly not by someone like her, a lithe alien figure with opalescent skin and eyes that seemed to shimmer with intelligence and caution. Seraphis stepped from the shadows, her movements deliberate, almost hesitant. You didn't need to fight them alone," she said softly, her voice melodic but edged with awe. "I could have," Rylan shook his head, offering a wry smile. "You were observing. I guess curiosity isn't a crime." He gestured toward the fallen mercenaries. "Besides, if I waited for backup, half the ship would have been gone." Seraphis's eyes narrowed, not in anger but in disbelief. She had studied humans for decades, yet nothing in her training prepared her for this combination of bravery and raw improvisation. Your species, you defy reason. I've seen warriors of greater size and weaponry defeated by strategy. But you fight with ingenuity, with instinct. It is unlike anything I've witnessed. Ryland shrugged, brushing dust from his jacket. We adapt. We make do with what we have. It's not magic, it's survival. For a long moment they stood facing each other. Then, cautiously, Seraphis approached, offering a hand. I am Seraphis. My mission was to study this freighter. Perhaps we should cooperate. Your methods might save more than just this vessel. Ryland extended his own hand, shaking hers firmly. Ryland KL, and yeah, I think we'll need each other to get through this nebula in one piece. It was an unlikely alliance, bridging two species with vastly different worlds and experiences. Yet, in that brief encounter, a foundation was laid, not of convenience, but of mutual respect. Seraphis realized that human courage wasn't reckless, it was deliberate, precise, and fiercely alive. And for the first time, she understood that to survive alongside one might mean learning things she never imagined about strength, trust, and the unpredictability of life. Together, they turned toward the ship's control deck, an unspoken pact forming. Whatever dangers lay ahead, they would face them as a team. The nebula outside the Vanguard shimmered like a storm of liquid light, turbulent and unpredictable. Sensors flickered wildly as gravitational anomalies twisted the ship, sending sparks dancing along the control panels. Rogue drones, leftover remnants from past conflicts, screeched through the corridors, targeting anything that moved. Ryland KL and Seraphis stood side by side on the command deck, facing chaos with an unspoken trust, forged in the heat of their first encounter. Ryland, the main thrusters can't compensate for these grav-wave surges, Seraphis shouted over the alarm klaxon, her fingers flying across a holographic console. Her elongated arms moved with precise elegance, manipulating multiple control nodes at once, recalibrating the ship's unstable systems. I've got it, he said, ducking a falling beam, grabbing a loose conduit, and using it to divert the power surge. Sparks arced dangerously close to his face, but he didn't flinch. Each action was instinctual, honed by years of improvisation in life-or-death situations. The rogue drones lunged, firing lasers that sliced through the air. Ryland used the ship's layout to his advantage, flipping and rolling over consoles, striking with improvised moves that disarmed and disabled them in moments. Seraphis watched, her initial disbelief now replaced by admiration. She realized that human ingenuity, combined with fearlessness, was a force even her advanced technology struggled to anticipate. When the last drone exploded against the hull, the nebula's storm began to subside. Ryland and Seraphis leaned against the console, breathing hard, their eyes meeting across the command deck. I've underestimated humans, she admitted softly, a trace of awe in her voice. You didn't see me in my quiet moments, Ryland replied with a grin. Her gaze softened. No, I saw the extraordinary. I saw bravery. I saw life raw and unyielding. For the first time, Seraphis understood that respect could be born not from strength alone, but from courage, quick thinking, and the willingness to act when others hesitate. The bond between them was no longer tentative. It was forged in the heart of chaos, an alliance that transcended species, a bridge between worlds. As the Vanguard sailed safely into calmer space, the alien woman beside him whispered, "Perhaps humans are not so fragile after all." Ryland laughed. "We're full of surprises." And in that laughter across the glowing nebula and the stars beyond, a friendship was solidified, one that would be remembered in the annals of the galaxy as the day a human and an alien stood together, unstoppable and unshakable.